All right, so let's take a look here. We have two different sequence rules, and it tells us to find the position of the given term. So in this case, they're not giving us the n and telling us to find the term. They're giving us the term and telling us to find the position. Where in the sequence is that term? So if we take a look at this first example here, it says f of n equals -3 times n minus 1. And then you see here this -51. So what they're telling us is -51 is a term somewhere in the sequence. The question is, where is it? What position number does it have? So the way we're going to do this, in other words, we have to find n. That's the position number. So the way we're going to do this is realizing that f of n is the term. We're going to take this equation and we're going to rewrite it. So it equals -3 times n minus 1. And here, instead of f of n, we're going to write the term, -51. And now we're just going to solve this equation the way we know how to solve equations. So first I need to distribute. So -3 times n, that is -3n. And -3 times -1, that is +3. And I copy down the rest of the equation. Next, I have to subtract 3 from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 3 here. Cancel out here. -51 minus 3, that is -54. Equals -3n. Now finally, I have to divide both sides by -3. So I find here that n equals +58. So what that tells me is that -51 is the 18th term in this sequence. So let's take a look at this second example here. This one says f of 1 equals 8.5. And then it says f of n equals f of n minus 1 minus half. And the term they're giving us is 5.5. So once again, 5.5 is one of the terms in this sequence, and we need to find the position number. But this one is different because this is a recursive rule, whereas the first example was an explicit rule. So in this one, since it's a recursive rule, we have to start with the first term, 8.5, and then just keep working through the sequence until we reach 5.5. So we're going to go ahead and our first term is 8.5. And we can see that the sequence here says f of n equals f of n minus 1. Take the previous term and subtract half. So the pattern here is we're going to keep subtracting half until we get to 5.5. So 8.5 minus 1/2 is 8. And 8 minus 1/2 is 7.5. And 7.5 minus 1/2 is 7. And 7 minus half is 6.5. And 6.5 minus half is 6. And 6 minus 1/2 is 5.5. And so that's the term we were looking for. And so now we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we can see that 5.5 is the 7th term in this sequence.